Good morning, guys. We finally have a nice day here in the PNW. So today I'm going to start ripping out the interior of the build here, and we're going to start working on the new build. We'll see. We'll have to see how far we get with the extrusion that I have. I'm basically going to reuse as much of this extrusion as I can. I only have a couple bars of uncut extrusion. I'm probably going to have to order some more, but kind of went over this in one of my past videos. My plan is to build all the way along the front wall there, all the way to the bottom of the bed platform. We're going to do a kitchen build there, so I'm probably going to have 4 sets of drawers and some cabinet doors maybe, or maybe we'll just do drawers all the way down. We'll see. Kind of like two drawers next to each other, two tall, and then the bottom half. I'm still going to leave my battery and everything up on the front, so all the weight's at the front of the bed and down low. So I'll leave all my power stuff there. So I'll probably have, like I said, cabinet doors across there. Gonna try to use all the stuff that I currently have. I have a bunch of hinges that I bought when I got all of my extrusion. And then I also have a box of soft close 18-inch deep drawer slides that I was going to use on a project in the house that I ended up not using. So I have a bunch of those. So I'm going to most likely do this 18 inches deep. My plan is to do it basically about the width of this, maybe a little bit wider. And then I'm going to have a bench front to back all the way down. So I have long enough. I was going to build the kitchen all the way over, but I think I just want to build the kitchen to the bench and then have the bench run all the way to the back. So I have basically a 5-inch long bench, so I can lay down. I'm 6'4", but basically so I can put my back up against the back of the cab and just hang out here. When the weather's crappy, open the side window so I still have a good view out. And then that's the same side my awning's on, so it'll cover it if it's raining out, and I can just kind of chillax in there. So yeah, let's get moving on this. Like I said, I'm going to get everything pulled out of here, and we're going to be putting the fridge in the back seat of the truck. I've had a few people try to talk me out of it. I used to run my fridge in the back seat. I think I'm going to go back to that. It's a little less convenient, but it's better in the long run because then I'm going to have way more storage in the back of my truck. And then when I go to bed at night, I'll just grab whatever I might need for the morning and keep it in the bed of the truck. Yeah, worst case, if it doesn't work out, I might buy like a really small fridge for the back of the truck to keep some small things in and then keep most of my food in the cab of the truck. It just makes the most sense because when I have the family with me, we're usually taking our trailer, so I don't need the fridge in my setup. So when I have the family with me, I'm going to build a quick pull out setup in the back, so it takes me just a few minutes to pull the fridge and the platform out. I'm going to build it over the back seat, not take the back seat out because I've got 2 young kids that both ride in car seats. So when we pull our trailer places, we take the truck. Every other time we take my wife's car. So we'll yeah, let's get going. We're gonna start. I'll get the fridge out. We'll start pulling all the extrusion out, and we'll see how far we get. This may be a series. It may be just a 1 video thing. We'll see how long it takes, and I'll get going here. So this is how I built the interior panels. I took laminate subfloor, basically. I think it was like 5 mil, and then bought shower surround fiberglass reinforced plastic, FRP sheets, and I rubber cemented them to the fronts, just so I had kind of a plastic sheeting. It didn't work as well as I thought it was going to, but it held up decently well. I just wanted something easily wipeable. Still on the fence of what I want to do. Ideally, I'd do some aluminum composite panels like the camper is made out of, but they're a little expensive. Aaron sent me a link on Facebook. There's a guy up in Seattle that was blowing through them, so I might see if he's still got some, maybe run up there in the next couple days and grab a couple sheets. You can cut it on a table saw. It's super easy to cut the aluminum composite panels, so and that would be a lot better than this. The only problem with that is that they dent pretty easy, but I think they'd hold up better than the wood. But this is a year old, and I mean, it's still holding good, so that's about as much as the interior as I'm going to pull. I don't know if you guys can see, but on the bottom corner there, that's where my battery is at. And then all of my electrical stuff is down below, and it's already mounted to the floor. So I'm gonna get all this cleaned out, and then we'll kind of go over the plan here. So much room for activities. So I think this is about as far as I'm gonna break this down. Like I said, I'm not planning on touching this side panel. I might redo the panels on it. But this only goes out to the outside of my wheel well. In the Colorados, I don't know if you guys can see, but the wheel wells stick out pretty far into the bed. So this was kind of wasted space. So I just made this tunnel. That's where I keep my poles for my awning. I keep a bottle jack in there, keep my axe in there. I keep some repair parts. My fold-up chair and everything fits in there. So I think I'm gonna leave that alone. Because that, like I said, is not taking up any extra space. It just would be wasted space. Leaving all of the electrical stuff low and forward. I've got my lithium battery. I've got a 2000 watt inverter, my DC to DC charger, my MPPT controller, chargers up there. So everything's kind of just back there. I've got everything hooked into fuses, and then everything just on that front panel. I might redo that front panel there. My onboard air, I had that wired up basically where the wheel well is at. I'm probably going to leave that. I might actually push it more forward, and then I've got it piped out to just this air fitting here, and then it's hooked up to my light bar switch on my juice box, just as a relay. It's not powered through the juice box. That's wired directly to the battery with an inline fuse. A lot of people ask me what I use for the base of my build. It's 3/4 inch plywood, Baltic birch or something. I don't remember what it was. Then I smooth sanded everything down, and then I coated it in 3 coats of exterior latex paint. Let it dry for 24 hours between coats, and it's held up good for the last year. I see no signs of wear aside from where I had screws screwed into it. Nothing is bolted directly to my bed. Everything is bolted to this plywood. The plywood is heavy. It stays in place. I have it cut to fit around the wheel wells, so it kind of just locks it in place when I set it down. So I'm going to leave that alone. So I think now what we're going to do, I'm going to measure out how far out I need for my drawers. And then I think I'm going to redo some of the extrusion in this back corner, get everything solid base. And then I'll probably build the top, wherever the top of the bench is going to be. My plan is basically right below the bed rail caps is probably where I'm going to do it, so it slides underneath there. So I'll still have access to my pucks. That was a pretty comfortable seating height right there. I actually sat down in my shop when I originally built this, found out where a comfortable spot for me to sit was, and then built everything to that height, because that originally was just going to be a bench across there. And then here, I'm not sure what we're going to do here yet. Like I said, a bench all the way across. And then I might just have cubbies that I can put stuff in from the side. But I might keep, I know you guys have seen it multiple times before, but my pull-out drawer here, I might leave that there, because that's basically the same height as the wheel well. And I can't get anything past it further unless I do a little bit of wasted space. I don't know. I'm just going to play around with what I have, and we'll kind of see where we end up. And and we'll just kind of just go from there. Try to waste as little space as possible here. All right, so after some careful consideration, I think what I'm gonna do, I kind of went in there and sat. Like I said, I want to be able to sit with my feet up basically and kind of hang out. So I'm going to put my bench the same width as already. So I'm basically going to have the same floor space as I did before. So we're going to have the kitchen. The kitchen's basically going to be the width of this black panel. It's going to go all the way up. Like I said, we'll have drawers. I'm still undecided if I want to do a drawer as side-by-side drawers that would make them pretty small, or if I want to just have two big drawers that pull out and then a cabinet underneath. And then, like I said, we're going to have a 18-inch depth so I can have the drawers, because I already had the drawer slides. I'm trying to keep this, they're right there, soft close drawer slides. Trying to keep this as cheap as possible, aka use everything I have and not have to buy anything, but we're going to kind of see how that pans out. So I'm going to grab some extrusion that I have in the garage. I think I have 2 full sticks, which will be the length of the bench here, and we'll go from there. All right, so I measured from this back corner, this back piece here at the very far back corner to about where I want it to end. It was 46 inches, so I grabbed a piece of extrusion, 46 inches, cut it. If you don't know, you can actually cut aluminum extrusion with a chop saw. Some people say you can use a wood blade. I've never tried. I actually bought a aluminum non-ferrous metal blade for my chop saw, so that's what I use to chop the extrusion. Gets perfectly flat ends. I tapped the extrusion hole in the middle and put a connecting block on the end here, just an L bracket on the other end. I'm going to test fit this, make sure that the length is good, and then we'll cut a second one. With the extrusions, you can get just regular T-nuts that slide in, or you can get like the rotating T-nuts that go in. So I used a solid one on this end, but since I guess I technically could put one here as well. I feel like the solid ones are a lot better quality than the little T-nut rotate ones. I just feel like they get a better grip. All right, so that should be good there. Let's you always want to close your tailgate to make sure that you've got ample room with the tailgate closed. Yeah, and that gives me about a ½ inch between the end of that and the tailgate, so I'm good with that. So I think we'll be good there. So I'll go cut another 46-inch one for this side, and then we'll box that in. We'll do a couple cross supports, and then we'll get the legs on this side. I'll probably do a set of legs in the middle as well, just for stability. So I'll go cut those real quick, and then I'll be back with you guys. All right, cut this one to 48 inches. I don't know if you guys can see, but the extrusion I have already has a hole drilled in it. It's a perfect size for M5 by 0.8 tap. So I just run a tap through there real quick with some tap oil. Grab the end block, screw it on one side, and the L bracket on the other side. I have multiple different L brackets. I feel like these are the strongest, so I try to use these when I can. So I'm gonna get this screwed on, and then we'll get it attached down there. I'll usually go through and add a bunch of reinforcements after I get the layout figured out. It's nice when you're wanting to move stuff around. It's nice not having to pull a bunch of stuff off and on all the time. And if you own a Colorado, one thing you're going to notice is, which is what I thought when I first built this interior. I don't know if you guys can see clearly, but the gap between this wood and the bed rail there is a lot smaller. It's actually nothing all the way to the front of the bed, and it's almost 1.5 inches at this end. The Colorado, I thought my bed was bent at first, and then after researching some forums, the bed is closer to the bed rails at the front bulkhead than it is back here by the tailgate. It's like 1.5 inch deviation of the height of the bed side, front to back, and it's the same on both sides. I thought it was something wrong with my truck, but after getting on the forums, other people that have built interiors ran into the same thing. I ended up making it level to the floor, not to my bed rail cap. All right, so the distance between these two rails is 17 1/4. So I'm gonna go cut 2 more 17 1/4 pieces, one for the middle and then one for the very end. All right, guys. So I've got both these cut, 17 1/4. This is gonna be the middle one. So as you can see, I have 3. So this is gonna be vertical or horizontal support. And I've got one on the bottom on both sides. That'll be for the leg. I'm gonna put the leg at the same spot as these, so I'm connected in 3 points. And then on the very end piece, I'm doing 2. So as well as the corner square piece, I'll also have an L bracket to the inside and down to the leg. And then same with the long support. So I'll be putting an L bracket there too. So the legs are supported on 2 sides, and then they'll be supported on 2 sides up there, and they'll be supported along the front there. So let's get these added. Now, while a lot of this may seem really tedious, I like to be overly cautious. As you can see, even on these corners, I added brackets. The more strength, the better. You'll never regret putting too many strengthening points, but you will definitely regret not putting enough. So don't skimp on any of that stuff. Order extras, order more than you think you're going to need. On my last build, aside from the 2 extra pieces I had, I used 18 70-inch pieces, so 18 6.5-foot pieces. So I think there were 78. I'll put the link of everything down in the description of what I ordered originally. I'm sure prices have gone up. I built all this 1.5 years ago originally. So we got both corner pieces off. All right, so we've got bolts and T-nuts on both sides. Let's get those slid in here. You don't need to over purchase. Everybody's always like, oh, you need, 80/20 or whatever. I'm 262 to 265. This is 20/20, so 20 mil, so like 3/4 of an inch basically. I've had no issues with the strength in the last year. With my fridge sits on top of it. I use my fridge as a step to get into bed. Never had any issues with any of that. So we'll get this pushed in here. I'm not going to tighten any of this. I need to figure out what center is. I want that dead center. And then here on the end, we'll do the same thing. So try not to worry. This is not as hard as everybody makes it seem online. I was pretty hesitant on building the interior with this originally. The very first interior, if I can find some pictures, I'll post here. I made entirely out of plywood. And I made that, like I originally said, I ordered this camper back in 2022, October, November, whatever original orders released. We ordered it the day that the orders opened. So I built an interior back in 22, like I said, all plywood. After like 8 months of driving around with it, I realized that I think it was just going to be too heavy for what I wanted. This thing is already heavy enough. I didn't need any extra weight hauling around. So I actually ripped it out and then ended up building the entire interior out of this extrusion. The wood's nice because you have, you're not limited on making everything square. But at the same time, I feel this is more rigid than the plywood. It's lighter than the plywood. And I feel like you have a little more options. And it's nice having a million attachment points if you ever want to attach things here or there or wherever. If I remember correctly, this is 46 inches. So half of that would be 23 for a dead center. There. And right there. Let's get this tightened up here. And I'm just snugging these up with just a T-handle. I'll go through before we start doing wood and getting an Allen wrench, an actual Allen wrench, and snugging these up real tight. But it doesn't take much to hold them in place. But when you're on the trail, you want these tight. You can go through. I went through on the last one and Loctited a lot of them. I don't feel like it's super needed, but if you're worried about them backing out, I did have a few back out before I went through and snugged them up completely before. All right, so I'm thinking that we'll probably keep this about level. So I'm kind of going off the bottom of the pucks. Looks like there's about a 1/2 inch up front, so we'll do about a 1/2 inch out back. We'll do, wouldn't that be something here? Let's, that's funny. We had 17 1/4 across here, and we're gonna be 17 1/4 on the legs. So I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna take, like I said, I'm reusing a lot of stuff. I already had corner pieces on this, so these are already tapped. So I'm gonna cut both of these here to the correct size and use those, make my life easier. I want it to re-tap, because the bottom I don't need a tap, the top I just need a tap to put the hole in here. I live right next to an airport, so a small airport, but an airport nonetheless, and the military base. So I've got helicopters and planes that fly over here 24/7. My kids enjoy it. I do as well. It's one thing I wish, if you live in Pierce County in Washington here, we've got Thun Field. Growing up, they used to have a restaurant there, but they turned it into a bar a couple years ago when the restaurant closed. I grew up going there eating breakfast with my grandpa, watching planes take off, and I can't do that anymore because they don't allow kids ever, not even for breakfast or anything there, which sucks, but. We actually need to do, I'm gonna measure real quick here on the front. I need to, 17 1/4 in the rear, but I'm having middle legs, so I actually need to make 4 legs total. So we're at 16 1/4 all the way in the back. What would this look like if we just did 16 1/4? Is that what I have over here as well? Yep, also have 16 1/4 there. So if I did 16 1/4, let's do 16 1/4. Everything's going to be the same. So we'll go cut 4 16 1/4 legs, and then I'll be back with you guys. All right, my good microphones have died, so you guys are on the GoPro thing there. But cut the legs, 4 legs, 2 in the middle. I added 1 on each side, L brackets. The ends, I added just 1 L bracket on each side. So if you guys remember the cross brace, I put 2 L brackets on, so those will be the 3rd side. And then the ends, these ones are already tapped, so I just cut them to the correct size. It'll attach to the square, it'll attach to the length of them, and then I already put the L brackets on these. I pulled the corner brackets and slid a couple T-nuts in there, so we're all good there. So now we've just got to crawl in here and get these attached to the correct place. Just remember, all of this has got to come out when you do the panels for in between the extrusion, because the panels I use slide into the slots of the extrusion, so all this will have to come back apart when I'm ready to do that. You could also do this instead of going all the way to the side, pushing it into wherever it will be on the flat part of your bed. If you've got corner gussets in your bed like I do. The problem with that is then, you know, you lose, if you're going to put a drawer here or something, you lose 4 inches of space on the face here. I may not I may not do a drawer out the back. I may just do drawers out the front, because then I could build some pretty large drawers. Because I was thinking of doing the bench with the fold-up top. I could do storage underneath the bench, and then I could do some pull-out drawers, or I can just do 100% storage and do a split bench and have 2 storage areas. I'm still kind of unsure on that, but I'll have to decide that here sooner than later. You guys can probably see here why I prefer. So this is the put in and turn T-nut versus how bulky this just slide in T-nut is. So that's why I prefer these over this, but right now I'm just going to use this. All right, so we have 25.5 inches from the platform to the bottom of the sleep platform. I'm going to leave 1.5 inch space for room for a countertop if I want to put one on there. Still kind of undecided on what I want to do for the top. So we'll do 24 inches in height there. So I'm going to go grab a few more pieces. Just shy of 24. I have some more extrusion in the garage. I'm going to go cut those to 24. I need 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 4 pieces of 24 inches. So let's go cut those, and then I'll be back with you. All right, guys. Had some movers come, so I had to take a break for a little bit. I've got 4 uprights for the front, 23.25 inches to compensate for the corner, so that'll put them at 24 inches tall. Put all the L brackets on the bottom, so I'm gonna head in, get all 4 put in, and we'll start working on the bracing for everything there. So now we've got the 4 uprights up. What we're gonna do now is I think I'm gonna pop the top of the tent. It's actually pretty nice out this afternoon, so I can lift up the bed platform, make working in there 10 times easier. We'll do a cross brace for the top, and then we'll do a probably 1 shelf. And then I'm gonna go over, I think I've changed my plans on this whole build. So we'll get the top popped, and then we'll do that, and then I'll go over everything with you guys here. All right, guys, it's been about an hour. I kind of just been dinking around, trying to get this sorted here. But I think I've got a setup here. So my plan is to have a sink here. I'm designing this around just my butane stove. Decided I'm just gonna go with stuff that I have sitting around. So butane stove goes here underneath the counter. Try to get that kind of balanced. I don't have anything there. I had these like raise up brackets that I had on my original build that I didn't use. These are going to be the countertop. So I'll have the countertop going across here. So this will be a flat countertop all the way across, and then when I'm ready to cook, I can raise this up. That'll give me a platform to keep food on up here. I can cook down here. Pretty sure everything will miss the cooktop there. Perfect size for the sink I had. And then I'll just have the countertop kind of come out probably about 2 inches past this, just to here. And then this will be a flat bench all the way across here. I decided I'm not going to do pull-out drawers here. I was worried about them kind of coming open when I'm driving down the road. So I'm just going to basically split this down the center here. And then we'll do basically 4 cubbies that I'll have like pull-out drawers like originally I had, just wood boxes that kind of clip in over the lip, so that'll keep them sturdy, so everything will be there. And then here, I think what I'm going to do here is use my original lower drawer down below to keep my heavy stuff in, like my fire pit. I don't need access to that from the inside. I'm going to build basically a platform above that. This will be a storage area. I'm still debating on how I want to keep the air pump, but that'll be in this area somewhere. And then I will do basically a cubby here that'll be accessible from underneath, lifting up the bottom of, or the top of the bench. So I'll just lift up the bench when I need to access there. That'll give me area to put any big stuff I need to put. And then same with over here. This will be kind of just folding up with everything else, and I'll be able to access in here. I don't really ever store anything in there. I usually keep my oven in there. And then I'm still debating on what I want to do over here. I may just basically put bottom on there, and then just have this storage for long items that I need to store. You're always going to have a little bit of wasted space, but I'm trying to waste as little as possible. I could move my water to this side, but then that takes up some seating area, and I don't think I want to get rid of any seating areas. I'd like to keep this as open as possible, like I had said. So this will give me a good spot just to kind of, either I can have two people in here, we can sit. It'll be straight across from the fold down table here. So I could eat in here with somebody. We could hang out in here. If it's like me and JT, we can come in here and play cards or something. If it's just me, I can lounge, kick my feet out, have the window open, and just kind of take in the scenery. But yeah, so I added, like I said, I added some extrusion here. I'm still kind of dialing in the fitment here. It's going to be hard until I get a countertop. And then, like I said, I'm going to split this basically in half. So I'll have my big drawer here that I've already made. I'm going to leave that. And then I'm thinking 4 individual drawers here. Either 4 individuals or 2 more big ones, but I think I'd rather have the small ones just to keep, individual things and have everything labeled. Yep, so I'm going to go cut some more crossbars here and for the back and the front, and then I'll be back with you guys here shortly. All right, so I've got crossbars, front and rear cut out, as well as front and back bars. I am completely out of my L brackets, so I'm going to order some more of these. But for now, I just have some basic ones that I had sitting around, so I'm going to use these just for mock-up, and then we'll go through and replace all those when I'm all done. So we'll get these cheap L brackets on. Like I said, I'm going to order some more of the good ones. But these will just be temporary because, like I said, you got to pull all this apart after you get everything dialed in to get the panels put in. And so far, I've only had to cut one piece of my extrusion that I had extra. I actually had 3 sticks, so I still have 2 full sticks over there. I've basically just been chopping up all the stuff from my old build. I was going to try to hold on to as much of that as I could until the end, but I've realized I'm completely changing everything, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so we have 18.5, that's 9.25 inches. So we'll go So now, gotta decide if we want to do, like I said, 4 drawers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the big one down below, or if we just want to do a big one down below and then then 2 big ones here as well. But I think we're gonna split these in half. So we got 8 3/4 and let's do Let's do 8 13/16 on both of them. 8 13/16. So I need 4 at 8 13/16. All right, got all 4 of the uppers to split those. So we'll go through and get screws put in all of those now. All right, I'll show you guys what we're dealing with here. So we'll do the drawer that I already had here. I think it's going to stay there because I have everything fit in there like I'd like it. Up here will be 4 individual pull-out boxes. Plenty deep. It's about 12 inches deep by about 12 inches wide, I guess, so it's about 12 square. We'll do a support there and there as well, and then this will all get plywood in there, and then some drawers. We'll make some drawers for it. We'll get a bottom here so that this will sit in here so we can cook. And then, like I said, these will come down and these will cover that, so the countertop will be all the way across. Still debating if I want to do like a fold-up countertop here. I have those brackets as well, but I don't think so. I think that'll be plenty of space because I'll have, like I said, up here, and then I'll probably make a cutting board that fits inside the sink. Or I can just ditch the sink because I don't use the sink anyways, but we'll see. And then, like I said, yep, everything will just be a bench here with more storage. So I'll have a lot more storage, I feel, than I did before, because I only had 3 drawers and they were not this big, and those were the drawers that were here in between my fridge. And then after we get all this done, we'll work on getting the fridge platform built inside. And then this is how I screw everything down to this plate, is I just put an L bracket here, and then I'll just run a screw into the plywood, and that'll hold it in place, and that'll keep everything solid. That's how all the corners are. It's screwed in there, screwed in here, and yeah, and then we'll be good to go. I'm gonna call it quits for tonight, 6 o'clock, so I gotta go in and eat some dinner, and then we got a storm coming in, so I'll probably be working on this inside the garage the next week or so, but I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, guys, it is 2 days later. All of my footage from yesterday disappeared, so we're going to go through and show you where we're at this point. I'll have to go back and see where I left off, but I believe the last thing we did was the crossbars up front here. So I went through and got some wood installed in there. Got some wood installed. I started making some baskets. I haven't put bottoms in them yet, but I made all of these baskets the same size. Let's see here. So all these baskets will get bottoms. They're all exactly the same size. I'll finish the tops up. I ended up using some cabinet grade maple on the fronts of all of them. And I'm still going to add a crossbar in here so they can't go left to right. But these will just be simple pull-out baskets here that we can just pull out. I'll have them all for different things. Probably 1 or 2 of them for cooking, and then the rest will just be storage. So those will go in out nice and easy there. Maybe. There we go. And those are basically built the same way I built my old cabinets. So they're just wood boxes that go in and out. Then on the side. And then we trimmed, or cut and trimmed a plywood base for up here. I ordered a cushion. That'll be here on Tuesday next week. That'll fit here almost all the way to the front of the bed. I know I talked to you guys about this before, but you can definitely see it now, how close it's almost touching the bed rail up here versus there being, I don't know, inch and a half down here. So that's how much slope the bed has, because these are all the same size legs all the way forward. On this one here, I was going to do 4 drawers, 2 here and 2 here, but then as I've started building it out, I've decided, with all the extra space, because this is where my fridge used to be, we're going to do 2 drawers here so I can still access them from outside the truck. I'm not going to use a pull-out drawer in the back anymore. We'll do 2 drawers here, and then we did this was split in half directly. So here we're going to just have cabinet doors so I can store my toilet and any bigger items. And then I moved, had a little bit of wasted space up here, so I ended up putting my compressor up here. If you guys can see that back there, my battery and everything is down there. I'm going to make a panel here that covers all of that. I still have to wire in the compressor because I had to cut some wires to move it. It used to be mounted back here, but now we've got it up front. Probably move my air fill truck. We'll see. And then, yeah, so today, what I'm going to do is we'll finish up these cabinet doors. I have some latches that I'm going to install so they stay closed. I have to trim this box here just a hair, because the way these hinges work, they come out of the extrusion. I could move this hinge down or something, but we'll just trim it. It'll be fairly easy. I might just remake this box and use maple on the front as well. So we'll have to pull that out and trim it. So yeah, we're going to start working on these drawers here. I'm going to take some measurements, decide how big. I think I want the bottom drawer to be a bigger drawer and the top drawer to kind of be a shallow drawer. And then, yeah, it'll be pretty straightforward. I'm still undecided what I'm going to do for a countertop up there. My plan, I think, is just to buy a butcher block. And then up here, what I was thinking was I have a couple sets of these hinges. I think I'm going to put some hinges here with a cover that goes up, that locks in when the countertop is down, and then when you lift the countertop up, you can fold this cover down, just so it looks more finished. And then I'll probably just put a filler panel here. But I might leave that empty. I'm not 100% on anything ever. So, yep, weather's kind of crappy, so I'm not going to pop the top today. So we're going to do the bottoms of these baskets. We're going to redo this basket. We'll do, I'll put some pull holes here. I was going to do some handles, but I don't want anything sticking out to get caught on, so I'm just going to drill some holes like I did on these and router them off with a nice edge. And then we'll do 2 drawers here. And we should be rocking and rolling. We'll probably take my hand plane and just plane the edge of this off so it's not sharp. But like I said, I ordered a cushion. That'll be here in a couple days. That'll fill up almost this entire area, which will make it a nice lounging spot. And yeah. Then at some point, whenever we decide what kind of aluminum panels we're going to do, we'll pull these panels off, replace these 2 panels here. I'm going to take this piece of plywood off and make it go all the way to the front of the bed, or I may just do a second filler piece there. It's cut short because that's where my bench used to be, so that's where my cushion was. Here, all I did here to mount these drawer slides was I did extrusion on both sides here, so this extrusion is set up the same way. I didn't want any brackets here on the inside, so I can put filler pieces here. So I just used these basically T-brackets on the outsides. I think it looks a little bit cleaner as well. So we'll do filler panels here, and then on the insides of the hinges, I had Aaron ask me in the Facebook group, but I don't know if you guys can see or not, but I just put the extrusion bolts right through the holes for these drawer slides, and just did T-nuts on the back in there, so they're just right into the extrusion, so I can easily extend them or whatever. I offset them back because my plan is I'll do the drawer faces flush, so this is all flush all the way down. The only thing that'll be sticking out is just the hinges. That'll give me 18-inch deep drawers. Those are 18-inch drawer slides, so that'll give me plenty of space. I'll still have a little bit of space to run wiring behind. And yeah, and then I went through and put these little L brackets on the bottom here with screws all the way across, and then added this extrusion along the bottom to support this corner that's not actually touching anything, so the extrusion itself is sitting down on there. So yeah, we'll start building the drawers, and we'll get those mounted up, get those measured. I'm basically done for now with extrusion. I'm still undecided what I'm going to do over here. I think I'm just going to leave it because that gives me access to the mully panel, because if I don't have access to that mully panel, I won't be using the mully panel, because I want to keep this side completely open. I don't want anything, as of right this second, I don't want anything hanging down right there. So we'll get rolling, and I'll get back with you guys here in a little bit once I get the drawers measured. I'm not a carpenter, so I'm not going to be showing you guys how I make the drawers, because there's plenty of channels out there that does woodworking. I basically just measure, cut, and hope and pray that everything fits correctly, and it's worked for me so far, so I'm just going to keep doing it that way. All right, and like 25 minutes, 30 minutes later, we've got a couple drawers. Still need to make the faces. I cut these little half circles out because that's where I'll put my finger holes in the face. But we've got this is about a 10.5-inch deep drawer, and I've got soft close hinges on them. This one's 5 inches deep. Easily reach them from my tailgate. This one, I think the back corner needs to be adjusted slightly, because the hinges is getting hung up just a hair, and I can see when I open and close them that this is kind of pulling the hinge in, but only in the back. So I think that back left corner may not be square, so I'll have to double check that. I know that this is square here, and then once we get everything dialed in, like I said, I'll do face plates on this just to tie everything together. I may run some power outlets here. I have about a 1/2-inch gap between there and my tailgate. Yep, so now next is going to be cutting face plates for those, and then we'll adjust the hinges so they sit flush with the front of this. And then we'll work on cabinet doors, get those pulled, get holes cut for the finger poles, and get stops put in there. I have a few of these kind of stops that I'm probably going to run for those and the drawer faces, but we'll kind of play that one by ear. All right, guys, got the faces done, cut the wood so the grain would match, and I was pretty sure that the stripe of dark was on the left when I did the top, and then I put it in and realized I drilled the hole in the wrong spot. So it is what it is. I'm not planning on keeping these. I'm just using scrap wood I have around the house, but that'll basically be the layout here. I still need to redo that one, which I'll do here shortly. And then I need to dial in where the drawer slides are at, because it's not sitting 100% flush here, but it's definitely coming along. Let me I'll set you guys down here. All right, so got first drawer here. Still need to, like I said, adjust everything so they close. And the other drawer, the big drawer. I'm thinking once they're weighed down with stuff, these are going to open and close a little bit easier, so I'm definitely going to have to put locks in. I looked into doing like the RV push button ones, but I'm not a big fan of those, so like I said, I think I'm just going to use these. They're basically bearings with springs behind them, and they go into this detent. You can adjust how tight they are just by tightening these screws on the sides. I'm definitely going to be using these up on the doors there. And then I'll have to figure out how I'm going to do up here. The top one will be fairly easy because I can do it off of the extrusion. But the bottom one, there's obviously no extrusion between the two of them. So I may end up doing it on the back side of the drawer. Or maybe the side, or I don't know. We'll figure something out. This will basically be the layout. I still have yet to test fit the fridge in the back seat of my truck, so hopefully that'll fit. If not, we'll be getting a different fridge. All right, guys. Got everything dialed. I got the drawers adjusted a little bit more. They open and close pretty decent. Still have a few more adjustments to do. I got to figure out a lock situation for that. I got the holes drilled in the front cabinet doors for finger pulls. So those are good to go. I put some of the locks in here, so those will stay closed. I need to tighten up a little bit. Got the compressor wired back in. That goes to here. Still debating on what I'm going to do with that. I might leave it there. I might move it. I got crossbars put in here, and the drawers trimmed up a little bit so that they slide in and out a little bit easier now. I have not trimmed this bottom one yet, so that one still can be a little bit of a pain because it catches that this hinge here. I can get it out. You just got to kind of shimmy it out. I've decided not to do a flip down cover over here, just the way that these brackets are overlapping. It'd just make it a pain and it wouldn't look great. So I think I'm just going to leave this open. Still undecided about this spot here. I think I might leave it open just so I can get under here if I need to. Top is on, not secured to anything yet. I'm going to wait till I get the cover to make sure, or the cushion to make sure that's dialed. I'm going to wait on this for right this second, but I will be making a panel that just extends from here to the back. Might be easier than just replacing the whole panel. Everything still needs to get edge banding, sanded, and all that, and then I still have to do the panels down here, which I'm not super worried about right this second. But I'm pretty stoked on how it turned out, or it has turned out so far. Uninterrupted space all the way down the middle if I need to haul anything, and plenty of storage, a lot more storage than I had before, a lot more room than I had before. Like I said, that fridge, I mean, it was a 65 liter, I think they call it liters, I'm not sure. I think they're quarts, maybe 65 quarts. Anyways, the 65 Ironman fridge takes up a lot of room, so it'll be nice to be a little more open in here and be able to reach in and access stuff. I'll still be able to reach in and grab these if I need to. I can still reach those a hair, still have access to my water. I'll be able to sit here, use the fold down table if I need to, relax here, have two people in here, come in and play cards if we want to, get out of the water or the rain. I'll update you guys once the cushion comes in next week. It'll be here before I put this video out, so that shouldn't be an issue. We're right in the middle of planning the Lone Peak meet, get together, camp weekend. So I'll give you guys some more info on that as they come up, but we're thinking probably end of April, early May. And then maybe we'll do a fall one as well. So maybe we'll try to do 2 a year. But until then, I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, guys, it's a couple days later. I've been fighting with the rain and everything else. I went ahead and worked on it while I wasn't videoing it. But we basically did all this stuff last time. We got the drawers in. Everything's kosher with those now. I printed out some latches so that they stay closed while I'm driving. So if we open those up, everything closes and opens good now. We can lock those. Went and got a butcher board, cut it a little short because I didn't want it all the way across. This is basically going to be the setup. I still have to screw a couple things down, but cut a hole for my sink bowl. I still have a little bit of trimming to do to get that perfect. I put my first couple coats of oil on this. This will be basically my countertop. Lift that up. So I'll still have countertop space, and then I'll have my cooking area here. A little bit of space there, and obviously I can use everything else. I made this. This is basically, I don't know if you guys can see, but this is about 1/8 of an inch below the bed. So the bed will still close, and there's still a tiny gap above it. And yeah, I think that's going to be the final product for now. We'll test it out the next couple trips, and I'll keep you guys updated on if I want to change anything or whatnot. I'm still undecided if I want to do panels here, but I can still easily grab my Dometic, put it up here if I want to use it in the sink. Oh yeah, I got my Amazon cushion yesterday, 2 days ago. It's still kind of puffing up, but fits the perfect length of the bed. I'll leave a link down in the description. It's a memory foam, so it's actually really comfortable to sit on. And we have plenty of space, and like I said, I'll be able to kind of lean back and relax. I might build something here to kind of lean my back up against that folds out, or I can store underneath this. I'm not sure yet, but appreciate all you guys. If you've got any questions, reach out, and I'll see you guys on the next one.